Hey there guys, this is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and the Nioh beta demo's been out for a while, and I figure, why not check on, the progress, see how things are going, see if they've made any improvements, and honestly, to put it simply, I think they've improved the game a decent amount. I'm still not a big fan of the Dark Souls elements. I feel like they're kind of out of place and just sort of, I don't know the appropriate word for it, but I feel like you know what I mean? It just doesn't really feel like it belongs in this kind of game. Especially as I played through, I started unlocking more of the skills, and as you guys saw, I unlocked the kick. I had actually played this a little bit earlier as well, and I know it's a little late. I'm actually recording this, I think, on like the last day you can play it on like the 6th. I think that's when they were closing it down, and so I wanted to like really pump out a video as quickly as I can because Team Ninja and Tecmo Koei has been pretty good about listening to fan feedback, and I know they're not going to they're not going to take out the Dark Souls elements. That's going to be too much. But I do feel like that's still my biggest issue with the game, is that it just feels too much like it still feels a little bit too much like a Dark Souls clone for the sake of trying to make money off of it being like, oh, it's Samurai Souls, which, again, as I stated in like both on the podcast and in like the video talking about the big reveal of it coming back and talking about the alpha, I've been following this game since it was announced, like back in the pre-PS3 days, so this is kind of like Final Fantasy 15 in that respect, I suppose. It didn't really have a name change, but it more had like a style change, and I feel like this game, it should be more of just like an samurai action game with RPG elements, as opposed to like a Dark Souls style game with a samurai setting. In terms of the gameplay, I felt like the dodging was a lot easier to pull off, or they maybe were more lenient on the, I guess, iframes or whatever. Like, I was able to dodge pretty easily, and I was doing, like, Dark Souls, like, last-minute dodges, and it felt very fun. It was kind of like in Bloodborne when you locked on, you could, like, do the dashes and whatnot, and that was actually kind of fun. You still rolled and whatnot, but it was more fun to like dodge, and it was just kind of fun to play. So like in the first time when I played, I would just tank everything when I first played the alpha, because I felt like dodging wasn't very effective. So I would just tank, and I would like back away and do that kind of. I still back away a little bit, and I still guard and whatnot, but I got more agile with my gameplay style for the beta, because it was more effective this time around. And the moves are really cool, like as you guys will see. I don't know if I've gotten to that part yet in the gameplay. I did record the gameplay first just so that I would make sure to have the gameplay, because again, I'm recording this like from what I assume is the last day you can play the beta. I was still able to play it. It might have just been like, oh, while you're on, you can still play as long as you don't log out or something, unless the game like boots you at a certain point. But I really like using the kick, and if you haven't seen it yet, you may see it where I get the charge, like spinning sword move. And I tried that for a little bit, and I couldn't really figure it out. I guess I'm just not a good enough player, though. It's like all you do is like press triangle at the end of a combo. I didn't really get it, but I also got like the cool parry thing, which that was really cool. Like I might upload this footage to my second channel if the entire video doesn't like cover the entire footage, because I recorded like 29 minutes worth of footage, and again, this is supposed to be kind of short because there's just not too much to talk about, at least in my opinion. Of course, if you've been following this channel recently, you'll know that me trying to make something short is very hard, if not near impossible for me to do, because I cannot, for the life of me, summarize something quickly. I take forever. That's who I am. I can't help it. But to get back on track, some of the other stuff I liked about the demo was the little tutorial place, which for me was kind of useful because the game, the alpha, it kind of jumped you in, which, which is good, for because I generally like to jump in, but for like wanting to fine tune everything, it was nice to have a tutorial. And I learned some stuff that I didn't know. I don't know if it was a feature in the alpha or not, but like the thing where like after you attack those blue particles of ki, go around, then like you press and hold R1, and then like it goes back into you, which is kind of interesting. I think it's supposed to be sort of like some sort of like stamina management thing. The game still has the like pant thing when you run out of stamina. I think it's like after you do like a long combo and you run out. Like I think if like, I don't know, I got the impression that like during battle, even if I were to run out of stamina, my character wouldn't like to start keeling over. I feel like this game is, or at least this beta, I kind of got sort of an impression of if you get hit once, you will like perish. Like it's kind of funny how like they made the game a little bit more easier, yet at the same time, in my opinion, with some of the later enemies. Like I imagine like if I were to play it again, if I got hit like one time, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. But like the people with like the axes, or like the spears, or if like I'm being attacked in like a group, or if I end up running out of stamina, like the damage is still like pretty high. I did level up my character a little bit, especially near the end. I didn't do defense. I don't really understand the what all the attributes do yet. I just kind of took like a brief look, and I raised my like life points or my HP or whatever, and my attack, because I like attacking. And I really like using the sword. Like the gameplay is really, really fun. I really like the style switch thing. It's really cool, and I like how it kind of, you can kind of play with using weapons that you wouldn't normally use. Like if you've played like Skyrim or something, like, and you had like the two-handed axe, like just for example, like I like axes, but I like using them like pole arms and like bamboo monk staffs, where like you twirl them around and stuff, and you use them sometimes with one hand and you poke stuff. You can kind of do that with the spear and the axe. No, I think the spear, I noticed there was like a one-handed version, which that may be the version that I think it was the low stance, where like William uses like a low stance kind of thing, whereas the axe, like even if you low stance, he just holds the axe kind of low, which I don't know. But using the different weapons and playing the game, it's actually like really fun. But I did feel like it was one of those, if you make one mistake, you're basically fucked kind of situations, which is fine. I felt like the game, it might have just been because I had played the alpha, but I felt like the game was a bit easier. Especially, and I think part of it is the dodging, because this game, since it seems to want to be Dark Souls, I want to dodge in it. I'm not just gonna tank everything like I would in like other games. And I like to use my shield and tank a little bit in Dark Souls 2, but I also like to dodge a little bit as well. And I feel like this game, since I assume there's probably not going to be a shield, I mean, they could probably, I don't think they had shields back then, at least not like metal shields, maybe like wooden shields. They're like kind of curved to be used with like spears. I don't know, I might be confusing my my Asian history. But the game was pretty fun. But the point being is that the game wants you to dodge, or at least that's the impression that I got. And so that's what I try to do, and I feel like they improved on that. So good job, Team Ninja, if you happen to be watching this. I don't know if you guys are, but and it's really cool again that they're taking feedback. The losing your Amrita or whatever, it made more sense to me. I think in the alpha, like there'd be some times where like I would die like only once, and it would like disappear even after picking it up, and I wouldn't be able to get it back. But I think in this one, I don't know if that was a bug, but I noticed that like whenever I would die after picking it up, it would like be where I left off. They would be like right. I'm like, okay, cool. So it was more like a what you would expect from Dark Souls and whatnot. And as you guys saw pretty early on, running around, being all samurai, like doing like the fast run with like your hand on your sheath, your saya, if you will, and taking your sword and being like, and then you do your slash, and that was fun. Like, this game actually, the gameplay looks really, really fun, and that's what kind of. I think that's part of the reason why I wish it wasn't a Dark Souls game, because I feel like the gameplay is just so, it's just sort of, it feels kind of non-Dark Souls to me, I guess. And also, it just feels more, what's the word, not necessarily about patience, I guess. Like, it doesn't really feel like Dark Souls to me, and I also just don't think the game needs to be Dark Souls, but, I'm very pleased with what they've done. And I've actually thought about like how if because I don't think like just because I don't think it needs to be like Dark Souls doesn't mean it can't have Dark Souls elements in it. Like it actually would have been cool. And again, I know even though they're listening to fan feedback, they're probably not going to implement this. But it would be unless they do it like in a smaller scale. But it would be cool if like when you die, there's a chance that like one of the enemies who killed you would take some of your equipment, and I think that would actually be kind of fitting for the time as well. And like if you see them again, they might be using the weapon you have, and that could add to the difficulty as well. If like you're fighting a enemy that in a tougher area that may not necessarily be that strong that you can beat, but they like beat you somehow, or you make a mistake and they punish you, and then part of the punishment is them using a really strong weapon. I mean, obviously you could be able to get it back after you kill them, but like because they have that strong weapon, it would be sort of like an extra punishment. I think that actually would be kind of interesting, and that's what I would have done in place of the souls thing. I probably would have had it to where you could lose those as well, but you would lose like a portion because of the whole. I would have had it more like stuff you get stolen from, or like when you die, like stuff just falls out, maybe, or I don't know. But I'm looking more forward to the game now. I still feel like because of the combat style and just what the game was originally meant to be when it was announced, and just because of the trend of it, because Dark Souls. It seems like a lot of games, particularly indie games, are trying to like make games that are similar to Dark Souls, either in style, theme, or mechanics. And I feel like, Nioh doesn't really need to be that. That's just my personal opinion. Because of the beta, I'm actually going to. I'm probably gonna get it. I'm definitely gonna at least try it. Try the full game. I imagine we can't like make our own character. Making your own character, like that would probably make me feel a bit better about it being a Dark Souls game, because I feel like a Dark Souls like game, because then like okay, well if I get to make my own character, then that's cool. But it seems more narrative driven. It kind of feels a little bit like Onimusha. Like sort of like an advanced Onimusha in a way, but and I like the map screen. I thought that was pretty cool, and based on the like the map screen when you click on it, it looks like you can maybe play as separate characters. Because I noticed it showed William like on the side and sort of like a character select sort of stance, and I find that interesting. I'm wondering if they're gonna let you get other characters, and maybe they have like different specialties or whatnot. That might be kind of weird though, because then it's going to be all like, well, do you want to play as like the blonde guy trying to be a samurai, or do you want to play as like the cat girl, assuming they have one, or do you want to play as the warlord man, or do you want to play as like the Mongolian guy who just came out of nowhere and is just all like, "Sup, I'm cool." Or do you want to play as your custom character? Should they allow that? That kind of stuff. But who knows? But yeah, overall I am pleased with the changes, even though I wasn't really looking for a Dark Souls-like game in Nioh. I feel like I'll be able to enjoy it and have a lot of fun, especially with all the cool combos. The combos, I think, kind of, and like the special attacks you can do, I think make up for the Dark Souls elements of this game. It certainly, gameplay-wise, I feel like doesn't entirely feel like Dark Souls. It feels similar, but obviously like the gameplay and whatnot, and with the stances, makes things a lot better. But yeah, that's what I think, and yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, I might upload the full footage on my second channel, so there'll be a link in the description to that if you guys want to see it. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is Flames Around Nikki, YouTube.